You are not going to find a co-founder, not at a networking event, not through some warm intro, and not on a matching app, not from your old team, and not from the mate who keeps saying we should build something. And it's not because you are not impressive enough. That's not it at all. It's because the thing you actually need isn't a person. I want you to think about what you'd need this person to actually do. You'd need them to help you build the product, to put money in, run the back office, hire your team with you, help you bring in investors, and stick around in month 4 when everything's on fire. That's not a co-founder. That's a whole company. Nobody has that laying around. So you wait and the years just go by. And let's be honest about what the waiting costs you, because you know your industry cold. You've spent your whole career fixing other people's companies, running other people's projects, making money that lands in someone else's bank account. You could name right now the broken, expensive, everyone just puts up with it problem in your industry that is worth 10 million a year in bottom line. You know it because you've been paid to work around it. And you own none of it. You've been sitting on the same idea for 3 years, and all you've got to show for it is a slightly better version of the same idea. That's not a skill problem. That's a structure problem. 49 days, just 7 weeks from the day you were accepted to a company with paying customers, money in the bank, and a product you built and shipped yourself, even if you walk in with no idea at all. And I'm not being cute with that number. It's the actual clock. And later in this video, I'll show you the exact maths behind it. Every email, every call, every dollar. First, you should know who's asking. Hi, I'm Fletcher. I run Cofound.com. We are the institutional co-founder. And let me put a disclaimer on that word straight away, because I mean something specific. We are not a traditional co-founder. There's no in-person from Cofound sitting inside your company working next to you. What we give you is the resources, the infrastructure, and the systems so that you can win. You are the CEO. It is your company. We are the machine behind it. Okay? So here's what we're going to cover so that before you apply, you actually understand what you are applying to. Who's behind this and where the money comes from, how the 49 days work, who this is for and who it isn't, the 3 stages, start to finish, including what your day actually looks like inside each one, the equity terms, all of it, and exactly what happens after you hit apply. No mystery, no funnel games. Before we get into the mechanics, you should know who's on the other side of this, because if this works out, you and I are going to be partners in a company, and you don't sign that with someone you haven't checked. I'm Fletcher Ladd, managing partner at Cofound and managing partner at Ladd & Company, a private advisory and investment bank. And across that work, the deals, the advisory, the founders, I kept meeting the same person over and over. The operator who knows their industry inside and out, they can name the exact problem worth solving, they have the network that they can sell into, but they never start. And when I dug into why, it wasn't them. It's that every path out there assumes you've already got the thing you are missing. Accelerators want a company that already exists. Investors want traction you don't have yet. And the matching program want you to bet your whole career on a stranger you met on a Tuesday. Nothing started before the idea, before the company, before the co-founder. So we built the thing that does. Before the idea, meaning you can apply with nothing. Some of the best people here do. Before the company, there's nothing to incorporate yet. And that's the whole point. We incorporate when there's actually something real. And before the co-founder, because we're it. That's the name. That's the position. Everything else in this video comes from it. Now, the money, because you should know where it comes from before you believe anything else I say. Cofound funds every sprint directly, $5,000 to $35,000 US per founder, depending on what the plan needs. It's not a lot of money, but during the validation, it's all you need. And when you hit the gate, Cofound funds the company itself at Incorporation. Now, what's behind Cofound sits a family office, which extends its investment banking services to the portfolio. That's the reason I can talk about capital later in this video with a straight face. Seed, Series A, B, C, and if the company earns it, all the way to that big liquidity event by taking a company public. 100 times future earnings in today's money. So the capital behind you now isn't some 3-month program budget. It's patience, and it's built to go the distance. Right, let's talk about how it works, because there's 4 phases. The first 2 are on a clock. Day 0, you're accepted into the program, and you are funded straight away. Not life-changing money. It's just working capital for the ground that you've got to cover. Day 1 to 7, you lock in your business plan. It takes about a week. Once we've approved it, days 8 to 49, 6 weeks, it's what you've got to land 3 paying clients. And I mean money in an account. And from day 50, you've hit it. We incorporate, we fund it properly, and Cofound is your co-founder for the life of the business. Permanent capital. If you zoom out right now, the whole thing is just 3 stages. So let's go over the phases of the business. Number 1, we validate. We prove demand before anything gets built. There's no point incorporating a company and setting all of the legal infrastructure up, the bank accounts, if the thing that you're going to be selling, nobody wants. Now, later down the line, once we have incorporated, the business might need a pivot, but that's normal and we've got strategies for that. On the incorporation side of things, we form the company, we fund it, and we advise it and scale talent, capital, and it all compounds together. It's like a flywheel that just takes off. We reach escape velocity, and everything that you're about to see fits into one of those 3. And I'll take you through each one, including what your day actually looks like inside of it. Now, this next part is the part that matters, so stay with me here. Every other route runs through the same sequence. If you have an idea, build the thing, raise money on the story, and then find out whether anyone else actually wanted it. That sequence is why most startups die. You burn 18 months and everyone's savings before you learn the truth. You see, we run it backwards. We go from a first principles approach. We go to the customer first, we get proof, then you sell the thing before it exists. And only what survives contact with the real buyer gets built, gets incorporated, gets funded. That flip right there is the whole product. And it's why 7 weeks is just enough time for you to actually validate your idea. Because you're not building for 7 weeks. You are finding out that if you're going to be spending your years building something, that it's going to be worth it. 7 weeks. And it's that short on purpose. This isn't urgency theater. 7 weeks is about the point where a smart, capable person stops testing an idea and starts defending it. The clock exists to get you to the truth before you fall in love with a bad answer. Because us as entrepreneurs, we will sell ourselves on a bad idea to the moon and back. Okay, who's this for? And I'm going to be really narrow here because the wrong fit wastes a lot of your time and a lot of ours. This is the consultant who's run 20 transformation projects, the ex-agency lead, the specialist who's been sitting inside one vertical long enough to see the money sitting on the floor. 2 things matter more than anything else: deep expertise in a defined niche, a warm network inside of it. Those 2 together are the entire reason a 7-week clock works for you and doesn't work for basically anyone else. You are not starting cold. You know the buyers know you. And here's the thing about that network. Those people already see you as the expert. You are the one they call about this stuff. If you started tomorrow, some of them would buy it in week 1. Not as a favor, because buying from you is the obvious move. Everyone we accept starts with at least some warm network. There is no version of this that starts from 0. And the last one, you don't want to do this alone. But what you actually need isn't a person at all. It's the infrastructure engine behind you. So you can blaze a trail going forward, knowing that everything behind you is going to be structured and kept clean. Now, most people watching this think that they are comparing us to an accelerator. You are not. You are comparing us to not starting, to the version of next year where you keep the salary, keep the title, and keep the idea in your notes app, and 65% of something beats 100% of nothing. Just as important, who this is not for. If any of these are you, please don't apply. I mean it. 1. You want a job. This isn't one. There's no salary until a company can actually pay one. And let me be straight about where the salary comes from. It comes after we raise, and a raise is never guaranteed. We bring the network, the market decides. So if you need certain income this year, this is the wrong thing for you. You need to have some savings in your account before you go on this venture with us to build a company, in case something goes wrong. And it's going to go wrong. And it's better that you know that now than in week 3. 2, you want funding without validation. If you want money on the strength of a deck, go raise a pre-seed genuinely. Go do that. It's a real path. It's just not this one. 3, you want to keep 100%. Then that's fine. Keep it. There's nothing wrong with that, but just don't apply. 4, you've got no niche and no network. The clock and the system that we've built inside of our software, it will break you. Without a warm start, this is just unfair for you. 5, you want someone else to do the selling. That's the one thing we can't take off you. We'll fund it. We'll advise you. We'll run the rails. But you have to be the one who can get somebody to pay and build the product. In today's day and age, with artificial intelligence, that is possible. And 6, You were already running another company. I'll be honest with you. If you've got another business eating your attention, this is just going to fail. Not my fail, it's going to fail. Just wind it down, step out, or hand it over, then apply. Because we will have to run the director's checks. All right, stage 1, validation. And it exists to answer exactly one question. Will someone pay you for this? That's it. That's the whole stage. And here's why this model works now, when it didn't work 5 years ago. You're a domain expert, and historically, not being a career engineer killed you because the software you needed cost $500,000 and a founding CTO you didn't have. And if you were that, that's great. Today, though, you can build the product yourself with a Claude subscription and one cracked European designer. The cost of building has collapsed. You don't need to be a software engineer by trade. You need enough technical depth to build with the tools and not be scared of them, which tells you something important. The build was never the moat. The moat is domain knowledge and distribution. And let me actually define that, because people throw the phrase around. Domain knowledge means nothing from the inside. Which problem is expensive, who owns the budget for it, what they genuinely pay, and what everyone who tried before got it wrong. You can't Google that. You can't prompt your way into it. You earn it by being in an industry for years, which you have been. Now, even if someone is out there prompting it, they still have to go and take that information and see it working for themselves to know if it's right or wrong in the real world. You've already done that. You know when the AI is hallucinating and when it is correct. And you know when to lean into that correctness and scale it further than anyone who is just getting started without any prior industry knowledge can. That's the half we can't supply. That's you. You're bringing your domain knowledge and your work ethic. And it's exactly why we don't build anything until someone pays. When building is cheap, the only expensive mistake left is building the wrong thing. So, days 1 to 7, you lock the plan. 5 things. The problem, specific, expensive, and currently tolerated. The buyer, a name title at a name type of company. The offer, what you actually deliver. The price, a real number you can say out loud without flinching. And the proof, what has to be true for you to know this works. 1 week on purpose. A week is enough to write down what you already know. It's not enough to research your way out of committing. You submit it, we assess it with you, and it locks. The plan is what you're going to be held to. Then, day 8 to 49. 6 weeks, 3 paying clients. Where do they come from? First, your warm network. The people who already trust you and already have the problem. That's your unfair advantage, and it's honestly most of the reason we accept your profile in the first place. Then, direct outbound. Pretty much cold email. Then, whatever organic you can stand up in the next 6 weeks. And what counts, let me be surgical here, because this is the gate. And there's no creative accounting at this gate. $1,000 minimum per client, paid in cash through your Stripe account. A signed contract, money has to be moved. Pilots don't count, handshakes don't count. Someone who says that they're very interested, it doesn't count. And will start next quarter, definitely doesn't count. Has to be $1,000 minimum paid upfront in full through the Stripe account by a Visa, MasterCard, or American Express. Now, let me show you the worst case, because I don't want anyone surprised by what the work actually looks like. Assume your warm network gives you nothing. Everything then has to come from cold, which is fine. So let's say you have to send 15,000 emails over 6 weeks. About 2% of those reply positively. That's roughly 300 people. Now 50 of them book a call, and 30 actually show up. That's 30 held calls out of the 50 that booked. You close 1 in 10. That's 10% close rate out of 10 calls. And you get 3 clients. That's the bottom of the funnel with 0 warmth in it. And look, most of you will never send 15,000 emails. That's not your starting position. Your network collapses that funnel from top to bottom. But the rule is warm first. The people who already know you and trust you won't buy, strangers won't save you. And if the cold math works anyway, then you haven't just validated a business. You've proven you don't need luck. And that's the founder everyone wants to back. Now, why 3? By the way, why not just 1 or 10 or 50? Because 1 client is a favor. Someone likes you. 2 is a coincidence. 3 means 3 sold to different people is the first honest evidence that a market exists and that you can reach it. And understand this is a selling test as much as a validation test. It tells you whether the business is real and whether you're the person who can build it. Both of those have to be true before anyone puts any serious money in, including us. And through all of it, you're not out there with nothing. You've got capital from day 0, you've got Claude, Claude Code, and Claude Design. That's your build stack now. The landing page, the prototype, the working demo, you're building all of it yourself with artificial intelligence. And it's faster than briefing an agency ever was. You've already got the playbooks and we're already executing them right now in portfolio companies. And you've got the advisory partners on the other end of the line every week on the calls that decide what you do next, because that's the whole point, right? The reason you haven't started isn't that 7 weeks of selling and building is hard. It's that doing it with nothing behind you is stupid. Well, now there's actually something behind you. And here's stage 1 written as terms, plainly, so nothing's hiding between the lines. We fund the sprint, $5,000 to $30,000 depending on what your plan needs. You get the advisory partners, the playbooks, the platform, and a fair bit more, which I'll show you in a second. You put in no money, not a fee, not a deposit, $0. What you do put in is your time, actually more than full time, and nobody draws a salary during the sprint, not you, not us. You are building an asset, you're not billing hours, and both of us get paid the exact same way, by the company being worth something. And when I say the platform, here's what's actually inside it. So we've built our own proprietary platform that we work on every single day to support the portfolio companies here at Cofound.com. You get a company dashboard, your cap table, the talent hub, that's the bench you'll be hiring off later, and we'll get to that. Funding and capital, so you can call capital when you need it. Playbooks across everything, revenue acquisition, people, finance, product, growth, design, capital, M&A, legal, operations, and resilience, which is mindset. And trust me, you're going to want that one. And a community of founders in the exact same fight as you. Perks and credits, an M&A center for when you're ready to buy a company from the profits you're generating from selling customers, or to sell a portfolio company you've acquired, structured training, events that are in person, trips, and more. One platform, one login, that's the machine that you get behind you if you're approved when you apply. Now stop for a second, because I need you to actually take this part in. Building a company is hard. Not motivational quote hard, actually fucking hard. Ben Horowitz wrote a book around it and called it The Struggle, and he was being polite. You think about this business you are going to start every waking hour, and most of the sleeping ones too. It's lonely because you can't vent to a team you're supposed to be leading. You'll have dark days every single month, even when it's working. You'll hear more no's in 6 weeks than in 10 years of having a job. Deals will die at the finish line. A client will churn the exact week that you needed money. The bug lands at 3 a.m, and it's your phone that rings. You're the one on pager duty. People who love you will quietly wonder if you've lost the plot. You'll feel like a fraud on the good days too, and nobody claps for you. There's no boss to say well done, and nobody is coming to save you, not even us. We hand you every weapon we've got, but you still do the fighting. You're on the front lines. We're the artillery behind you. That's the real price of this, not the equity, this. So, why would anyone do it? Well, your other option is a job. Genuinely. There's no shame in that. If you build a company here and you're the CEO, you're going to be hiring people. They need to be respected, and they are respected because they're helping build the company. And it's saner. Most people should take it. But the other side of this, if you go through all of that and come out on the other end, it looks like this. A company with your name on it, a team that you built, clients who actually thank you, distributions going to your personal bank account, or a sale that changes your family maths for good. Proper wealth. You can travel when you want, first class if you want, the house, the lifestyle, the optionality, and the big one, never once having to wonder, what if on your deathbed? That's the trade. And I want you walking in with your eyes open on both sides of it. On one side, you're wondering what if. On the other side, if it works out, and if you stick around long enough, it will. Greatness. So what does a day actually look like as an entrepreneur building a startup company? Here it is. Week 1, you're writing and submitting the business plan. Then the rhythm kicks in. Morning, outreach, emails out, follow-ups, before anything else. Mid-morning, you're doing calls. Warm introductions first, booked cold calls after. Afternoon, you're building the application, the landing page, the marketing assets, and you're doing it with Claude, and you're recutting the offer based on what buyers actually said to you that morning. Because that plan you lock, it meets reality every single day. And the best feedback to put through a feedback loop is what someone's actually willing to pay for. The market will tell you their problem. Then a second outreach block, and everything gets logged in the platform. So on the weekly call, the partners and you are looking at the same numbers. It's a selling job and a building job at the same time for 7 weeks. That's the price of finding the truth. And it's a hell of a lot cheaper than 18 months of building the wrong thing. And sometimes hard things are fun. It's a sprint. Stage 2, you've got your 3 paying clients. Now we're into a real company. And this is where most people underestimate what they've just been handed. So we incorporate the entity, we fund the company, and we advise it, hands-on, every week, with hiring support straight off the Talent Hub bench when you are ready. Banking's on Mercury, the accounts are wired into the platform through plaid.com, so your numbers are live. Not a spreadsheet someone updates once a month. Proper integrations. Accounting, bookkeeping, it's all done for you. Compliance, contracts, insurance, all the boring, unglamorous stuff that normally eats a first-time founder's first 6 months, let us do it all for you. You will not spend one day of your life choosing a business bank account or anything that doesn't build a great product or sell it to customers through distribution. A business used to be marketing, sales, operations, and finance. But now I want you to think of it like this: finance, distribution, and product. Here's exactly what gets set up, because I'd rather show you than have you take my word for it. A Delaware C-Corp, that's the holdco. That's where the ownership lives. You at 65, Cofound at 35. And it owns 100% of the OpCo, operating company. The one that signs the contracts, books the revenue, employs the team, ships the product. Why 2 entities, you might be asking? 3 reasons. Investors want to buy into a clean cap table, and the holdco is exactly that. Operating risk should live where the operations live, walled off from the ownership. And when it's time to raise or time to sell, this is the structure the lawyers on the other side already expect. There's nothing to restructure, nothing to explain. One more thing in that picture, your shares vest. I'll explain what that means and why it exists when we do the terms. Short versions, you earn your equity over time, and every agreement gets signed before day one. You will never discover a term that you didn't read or disagree with. Now, here's the sentence that would have been a lie 5 years ago. You don't need a technical co-founder. You and AI build version 1. You saw the maths earlier. The $500,000 build is now a Claude subscription and one cracked European designer. AI can't see visually. It can't tell you if something's good, but a cracked, and when I say cracked, I mean really good, European designer can design something in Figma and the components can be turned into code and Claude can build it. Front end, as good as a design engineer. And when revenue says it's time, you don't spend 18 months hunting for an engineer and praying they don't quit. You place one full-time into your company straight off the bench that we've already built of good people in the talent hub. The single most deal-breaking problem in startups, the one that's killed more good companies than bad ideas ever did, is just now deleted. You don't have to worry about it. And all of it runs through one platform. Product, talent, capital, execution, all in one place. One set of rails, one source of truth. Because we've built this before, and we'll build it again for the next company, and the one after that. That's the actual product here. Not advice alone. Proper infrastructure that doesn't exist anywhere else. Stage 2, day-to-day. And this is the part that separates real founders from people who want the title. You ship the product yourself. You use it every single day. You eat the dog food, which is exactly why domain expertise is just non-negotiable. You have to understand the thing you are building better than anyone else alive. I can almost guarantee you that Elon Musk knows everything that there is about engineering rockets. Not because he has to, it's because he needs to. It's obsession. You are talking to the first 3 customers constantly, and when a bug lands at 3 in the morning, that's your phone dinging. You are on call. Because of that's what actually makes a company successful. Not the deck, the founder who picks up and gets to work. The AI agent will solve it, but you're the one who has to click the buttons on the computer. And while all of that's happening, you are selling the next 3 customers. Revenue doesn't pause for development. We constantly keep selling. Then, when the numbers say so, you start hiring. A sales rep to get you off the phone. A full-time engineer who owns the product, a designer to clean everything up and make it look like a multi-billion-dollar tech company. And here's the difference. You are not out there recruiting for 6 months. You are plucking them off a bench we've already built. The talent hub, that's the machine working. That's the leverage that you can just tap into. Now let's talk about stage 3. You've got a company with customers, a product, and infrastructure. And from here, it's a staircase. First 3 clients, then repeatable revenue, then the milestone, then the raise. Now it scales. A quick word on capital strategy, because most founders think that path starts at Y Combinator or another accelerator. It doesn't. YC takes around 7% after you already have a company. A co-founder, something to show them. We are before all of that. We're before the idea, before the company, before the co-founder. That's the position, and this is where it pays off. Because here's what people miss. Co-found isn't instead of Y Combinator. A co-found company can still apply to YC, can still raise a seed, can still raise an A, except now you're walking into these rooms with revenue, infrastructure, and clean books instead of a deck. We sit at the very start of the capital stack. Everything above us stays open. So, You hit the agreed revenue milestone and we take you out to raise your first institutional round through our co-investment network that we've already built that you don't even have to go and do yourself. And just picture the difference. A solo founder raising is cold outreach. A deck, projections, an unknown quantity, alone in the room. You raising is a warm introduction now. Actual revenue, actual customer, a portco of a trusted holding company with an institutional co-founder sitting in the room with you. Those are not the same conversations. They're not even close. Now, let me be direct about salary because the order matters. There's no salary during validation. A small one once the company can genuinely support it, and the real salary comes out of the funded round. And there's another version entirely. The company's profitability, you don't need outside capital. You can skip the raise and take distributions every single week or month if you want to. That's track one, and I'll show you both tracks in a minute. And I'll say the uncomfortable part out loud because nobody serious will promise you a round, and I won't either. A raise isn't guaranteed. We bring the network, we bring the introductions, we bring a company that's actually worth introducing. The market decides the rest. You are trading short-term income for ownership of an asset. That's the deal. And if that trade doesn't appeal to you, don't do this. And when it works, it compounds. Executive recruitment, building the team around you, growth systems deployed, not advised, access to the rest of the portco, other founders who become your customers, your partners, your distribution, and follow-on capital as you grow. See, our incentive doesn't end when you incorporate. We own a third of this thing. We are on your cap table for life. As I said, it's permanent. And we make money exactly one way, that your company being worth something. Nobody pays us a fee. There's no program to graduate from. So you can see the whole board, A to Z. There are 2 tracks out of this, and the structure underneath you is built for both. From the first document we sign, track 1, hold. Some of these companies should never raise. They'll be profitable, they'll throw off cash, they'll even gorge it out, as Warren Buffett says. You take distributions or sweep or taking money off the table, and we hold it right alongside you. That is a completely legitimate ending, and anyone who tells you every company has to raise is actually selling you something. Track 2, institutional. Seed, Series A through B and then C, and at the end of that road, the real exits. A strategic sale, private equity, getting acquired by a public company, or if a company earns it, going public yourself. The family office behind Cofound extends its investment banking services to our portcos for exactly this road. You don't have to pick a track today, but you just need to know that both actually exist and that the Delaware structure you saw earlier was designed so either one works without restructuring a thing. We've already done all of the planning for you. And your day in stage 3 looks like a CEO's day because that's where you are right now. You run the company, pipeline, team, numbers, weekly, a metrics review, monthly board style reviews with us, the kind of thing where the numbers are already live in the platform, so nobody's building a deck to hide behind. Quarterly, capital strategy, raise, do we hold it or do we accelerate it? And the machine runs underneath you. The bench, growth systems, back office, capital access, you just steer the ship. You're the captain of this ship. That's the job you are actually applying for. Okay, the equity. Let's do the numbers plainly, because you are going to ask anyway, and I'd rather you hear it from me than guess. Now, on our resources section on the website, we already have templates of all the agreements that you're going to be signed for transparency reasons. You take 65%. Cofound takes 35%. Now, your equity vests 4 years with a 1-year cliff. And let me actually explain that because I'd rather you hear it plainly than not along. Vesting means you earn your shares over time. Stay the 4 years, you've earned all 65%. Leave after 1 year, you keep a quarter of it. You leave in month 6, you keep nothing. Why does it exist? Because it protects the company from the person who quits in month 5 and rides everyone else's work to payday. And here's the thing, it protects you from the person too. Any co-founder or early exec you bring on later vests for exactly the same reason if you decide you want to give them any equity. Every serious investor on earth requires this. So it's not us being difficult, it's the structure of every real company you've ever heard of. And if you were applying to this, you're not thinking about year 2 or year 3, you're thinking 10 years in the future. And if you're not, do not apply. Now, 35% sounds like a lot if you're comparing it to an accelerator like Y Combinator, and that's the wrong comparison. An accelerator takes 7% and gives you 3 months, a mentor list, and a demo day. The right comparison is a co-founder, because that's what this is. Say you found a brilliant technical co-founder tomorrow, someone who'd build your product for the life of the company. Let's say they loan some money, they put some capital in, they run your back office, help you hire your team, open up their investor network. What would they take? 40%, 50%, half the companies you admire were split 50-50 between 2 people who met at uni. We only take 35%. And unlike a human co-founder, we don't quit. We don't get bored. we don't need managing. And we've done this before, and we've got a track record, and we can offer you more than practically any human can. Because the whole equity question really comes down to one thing. What's the actual alternative? And it's not 100% of the same company. That company doesn't exist without the capital, the systems, or the infrastructure. The actual alternative is 100% of an idea you've been carrying around for 3 years. 65% of something beats 100% of nothing. Remember, life's short. It's going to fly by. You've got 30 years, 30 good years to really live your life. Don't waste them. So, let's talk about how to apply. Let's put rubber on the road now. Applications are rolling. There's no cohort, there's no city, no intake date you're waiting on. If you're accepted, you start. You work virtual, you work remote. It's why you can travel the world once this thing's making money. What we don't ask for is a pitch deck, an idea, a business plan, a financial model, a prototype, none of it. Some of the strongest applications we have come in, they have no idea at all. Maybe they don't have the best domain expertise. Maybe they've got a limited market that they can tap into, their network. That's fine. We've already got everything to help you start from nothing. Now, so you know the shape of the business we say yes to, B2B, software, or a service that becomes software, something you can compound with the product over time. A niche you actually know from the inside, not one you researched last month. A price point where 3 clients means real revenue, not 3 $99 subscriptions, and a buyer that you can name. Title, company type, budget. If your idea is a consumer app or a moonshot, we're the wrong partner, and you'll save yourself a screening call by knowing that now. And these are the traits we're actually scoring. They are published on the apply page. Nothing here is a mystery. Market awareness, you know your sector's map. Long horizon commitment, this is a years-long build, not a summer project. Communication clarity, because you'll be selling every day and reporting every week. You have to have a builder mentality and be resourceful. You have to make things happen with what's in front of you. You're going to learn how to get everything you can out of all you've got. You need to have technical depth, not a computer science degree, but you need the ability to go deep on the tools, the product, and how your industry actually works. Coachability, you take input, you act on it. And then resilience, because 42 days of selling includes a lot of no's. You don't need to max out every one of those. You need to be honest about which ones you've got, because the sprint will reveal the rest either way. If you confirm the first criterion of the apply page before recording. And one more thing, and I really mean this part. This is the only thing you do, full-time, fully focused, not alongside a day job, no moonlighting, not around a couple of consulting clients, not on evenings and weekends. The clock does not care about your calendar, and a split attention sprint fails every single time. And this isn't a course you watch from your laptop either. There are in-person meetups, there are events, and you're going to show up to them, because the people you'll meet there, the rest of the portco, they'll end up becoming your customers, your partners, your distribution, and your friends. If you can't clear the decks right now, then do not apply. Apply when you can. The door doesn't close. And one piece of advice on the application itself, give it an hour and write it properly, because the applications we reject faster aren't the short ones. They are the vague ones. SMEs in the professional services space tells us nothing. Heads of clinical operations at private hospital groups in the UK, there's about 40 of them. I've worked with 9. That tells us everything. Detail is the entire signal. If you can't be specific about who you'd sell to, you're not ready yet, and the 7-week clock will find that out at your expense. Here's exactly what happens after you hit submit. Your application's reviewed within 2 to 5 business days, and you'll hear back either way, including a no. Then, 10-minute screening call. It's not a pitch, it's a conversation. Your niche, your network, and why you're doing this. You'll get a decision within 5 business days of that call. Either a yes or a no, or not yet. And not yet is a real answer. It actually means come back when you've got a clear read on your buyer and your business idea. If it's a yes, you get terms in writing, you go through onboarding, you get advice on them if you really want to, and honestly, I'd rather that you did. Then, onboarding, KYC, compliance checks, we're moving real money into companies, so identity and compliance get done properly upfront, agreement signed, then you get platform access set up and provisioned. And then, day 0, get the funds released and the 7-day clock starts. And I'll tell you exactly what day 1 looks like, because I do not want anyone surprised. You get a kickoff call with me, platform access, funds in your account, that's once the business plan's approved, and then you're watching training. There's no orientation week, no welcome pack, no cohort mixer. You're working on day 1 because the clock's already running. 2 kinds of people should apply today. The one who already knows exactly which problem they'd go after, who's been sitting on it for years. And the one with no idea at all, who just knows the industry better than anyone they've ever worked with. Both get accepted and neither should wait, because the only thing that changes if you wait is your age. 7 days to lock your plan, 42 to land 3 clients, and then a funded company with your name on it, and a co-founder that doesn't quit. Or you close this tab and next year you and I have exactly this conversation again. The link's below if you need more information. Explore the website. Go apply right now.